So it seems as if we have the problem that Core always has, where he was talking into his mic and recording on Audacity, and he was not recording his screen. So the entire 31 minutes that I spent doing this review, I will have to do again. And because it's 31 minutes, I do not want you to listen to 30 minutes of me talking, even if it is about Star Drift Evolution. So I am going to try to make this faster. I'm going to try to condense it down. So we're going to start off with, what is Star Drift Evolution? Star Drift Evolution, the closest thing I can relate to it is Trackmania. Pick any of the games. Pick the earliest one, pick the latest one, pick the canyon valleys, whatever. It's like that. We've got a ghost. You're racing against other people. You can race against other people, and they're all ghosted, and you're just trying to beat times. You're also trying to beat your time. There isn't an author medal or anything like that, but there are expert times. There's 50 cars with a couple of fun cars. The fun cars aren't used competitively. They are just there for fun, like a fire truck, a Zamboni, or a soap truck. It's called soap spinner, but it's like, the cleaning truck. You got a school bus. You got a big dump truck, stuff like that. Apart from that, there are 40 cars which are competitive, and I will just kind of skip through them right here. Some of them are based off of real life cars, but obviously they require licenses, I think. So the low poly build, I think, prevents that. But anyway, it's really cool that some of these cars, the point is, it's really cool how some of these cars are real cars. I think all of them are. I just don't know them. But anyway, is that a Supra? But you've got 40 cars that are competitive. You've got 75 tracks split up into different groups. I have beaten the game, so I can choose any track I want. But at the beginning, you will only be able to choose rookie career tracks. But you can choose like rally tracks. They're set all. If you look at this big map over here, I'm pointing at my screen. You can't see my pointing. If you look at this world map that's in kind of like the middle of the screen, you'll see like the yellow dots, and that's where each one is, quote, located in the world. But I think it's really cool that the developer has set it up so that it is like kind of like, based in the world instead of it just being completely fictional. We've got different cameras. Okay, let's try this again. Replay personal best. Okay, so we've got cameras. We've got the normal third-person custom. This is what I use. We've got the hood view, which is also in like, Assetto Corsa, Competizione, GT Sport. They use this hood view. This hood view is not that good in this game because of how jerky the car's movements are, because this is an arcade game. I'm not saying that the hood view is bad. I really love that the hood view has been implemented. I just probably will never use it unless I'm challenging myself. You've got top-down, so if you want to race it like, more arcade style, ignore that random fast car. If you want to race it arcade style, you can do it this way. You've got top-down custom, where, it kind of follows your car a little bit more. I don't know. You've got third-person, where it's like third-person custom, but it's zoomed out further. I know that one of the top 10 people in the world does use this camera mode, so it can be good. I personally don't. I like this one, but that's my preference, and you might have a different one. There are different controls. You can use a keyboard or a controller for this game, and what's even more is that you can change the controls too. You can come down here to hotkeys, and you can change the controls. So if you don't want to use WASD, and you want to use the arrow keys, you can. If you want to change what the handbrake is, you can change the handbrake. And you can do the same for the controller as well, which I think is absolutely great. There are a couple different ways you can race in this game. I just showed you one, but I'll come back to it. You can race against the AI. And so there are a couple of different difficulties for the AI. You've got easy, medium, and hard. I think the easy, medium, and hard difficulties, when you change them, I think it does change the car types that are being driven. So right now, everybody's driving the rookie. I think when you change difficulties, they do drive different cars. You've got easy, medium, and hard. You can change that in the settings. You can also race against a ghost. So that's like the time trial aspect of this game. I forgot to ask my questions. I'll ask them in a little bit. You've got the time trial. So this is where, you're just racing a ghost and you're trying to beat the ghost. So if I can cross the finish line before that car does, that is my personal best, then I have beaten my personal best, and the ghost is updated with this car and the line that I took. So you can keep on going, trying to get better. There are different ghosts that you can do. You can race against yourself. You can race against the person who is right in front of you on the leaderboard if you want to do it that way, see how they did it. If you get to a point where you can't go faster just by looking at yourself, put on the closest enemy, and you can see what he's doing in whatever car he's using. That might be a better car, might be a better racing line. You can also race against the top 10. So if you were like, rank 50, you want to see what the top 10 people are doing, you want to see how the number one person in the world drove this map, you can do that. You can see his line, see his car. You can even race against him. And that leads me to these challenges. These are challenges that will be on every map or track. Two of them, the first two are for the AI, which you can change again to easy, medium, hard if you want to get that better. If you want to make it easier to get those two challenges. And then we have like a novice lap time, novice total time, and then an expert lap and an expert total time as well. With skill rating, you have skill rating in this game. Now, skill rating doesn't unlock anything. Skill rating doesn't give you any bonuses. It is just, it's kind of like your MMR. Skill rating shows everybody else how good you are at this game statistically. If you beat the expert total time, like if you get 120, not expert total time, sorry. I said that last time, I said it this time. If you get the expert lap time, which is 16 seconds, if you race this race and you get like 15.8, you're going to get somewhere between 100% and like 101%. If you get the expert lap time exactly, you will get exactly 100%. That means that you have essentially beaten this track according to the developer. Now you can go a lot faster than that, as we see here with the leaderboard. My skill rating, I'm number 4 in the world. My skill rating is 385%, which is a lot better than 100%. So you can just keep that in mind if you're going through the races, and that skill rating is displayed on the leaderboard. Now you can toggle the leaderboard to be like, if you just want to see yourself. Now it didn't change on this screen because I'm number 1, so I am only going to see the 9 people that are next to me. But if you wanted to toggle yourself, like let's say you were the 80th person in the world, it would show you the 9 people that are around you. I think it's 4 in front, 5 behind, maybe, or something like that. But you kind of see their percentages, so it's kind of like a good way to kind of be competitive in this game without the multiplayer aspect. You can also do it among your friends. So these are my friends that play the game, so if you're, like, say Rob is looking at this, and he sees Paran, if they're friends, then he's like, man, it'd be really cool if I could get past Paran, so he's going to be working to try to beat that 181%, which is really cool. I really love that aspect of this game. We've got, before we go into anything else, I'm going to ask my questions. I was supposed to ask my questions at the beginning. Okay. Is this game for you? I know we've already gotten 8 minutes into this, but I'll save you any more pain. If you answer yes to any one of these questions, keep watching the video. If you answer no to all of these questions, if you don't say yes one time, then you can just stop the video right now, because this game will not apply to you in any shape, form, or fashion. So, number 1, do you like competitive games? Such as, like, for me, my history with competitive games is like Dota, Rocket League, I guess Dirt Rally 2 to an extent. But I love competitive games. I love buying AAA titles like Tomb Raider, and they're really, really great. And I'll play them for about maybe 5 hours total, and then I'll just go back to Rocket League, because I love competitive games. I love trying to make myself better at a game. Do you like racing games? Just in general, it can be like Dirt. The Dirt series, it could be Trackmania, it could be Assetto Corsa, Competizione, it could be GT Sport, it could be any type of racing game. Do you like racing games in general? Do you like time trials? So, like, I think Assetto Corsa has time trials. Do you like Trackmania? Like, Trackmania is a time trial game where you're just trying to beat your ghost, trying to be faster. Do you like games that can be played locally with friends or family at a party? So if you've got, like if you get like, some brothers or sisters, or your mom and dad play, games, and you like to play games as a family, there is a local multiplayer option for this game that we're actually looking at right now, that can satisfy that. You can have up to 4 people playing this game at once, split screen style, with different controls. So that's a really great thing to do. If you have like friends over, if you want a game, if you're tired of playing like, let's say, Overcooked or something, you can play this game instead. Do you like perfecting games? This is kind of like the competitive games. And I'm not talking about getting 100% on the achievements, because that can be called like perfecting the game. You don't need to play the game anymore if you've got all the achievements. Some people view it as that. I'm talking about being the best that you can be at this game. And in that regards, like Rocket League, I would say perfecting, there is no perfection in Rocket League. The skill ceiling just keeps on increasing. But there are ranks, and right now, Supersonic Legend is the highest rank in Rocket League. Do you like, what I'm asking is, and it's like that in every game. There's like something like that in Overwatch, CSGO, Dota. Every multiplayer competitive game has ranks. Do you like trying to get to the highest rank possible? Like, do you like playing the game for that reason? And last but not least, if you've got a PC but you don't have the latest greatest CPU GPU combo because the prices are through the roof right now because of COVID and import taxes, I think, this game is great for that because right now, I've got a 1660, I believe, and an AMD 2700X, and this game is running at 144 FPS, and I think it is on 1440p. Let me see. Yes, it is on 1440p with 143 hertz. So, and this is on ultra settings. So I've got a friend. He's got a laptop with an integrated graphics card, and he can run this around 30 to 40 FPS. I will say that the more FPS you have in this game, the better it is, the smoother it is, and you need to have smooth gameplay to do the racing lines almost perfectly or as perfectly as possible. But the point is, if you've got any desktop PC made within, I'd say the last 5 years, this game should run no problem, no matter what you've got. Okay, so also, last but not least, if you said yes to any of those questions, there is a free demo that you can play. I believe it has the first 9 tracks unlocked and maybe the first 4 cars. So you've got some different options to pick, different track to pick. You can kind of play around in there, see if you like it or not, see if you like kind of the aspect of the game. And if you do, then you can go ahead and buy it. Okay, so now that I've done that, I think we're going to go back to where we talk about local multiplayer. I'll just give a little bit of what it looks like. You can choose, you have 2 players, they can choose different cars, so if you have 2 different cars, shoot. I don't want the AI. Start without the AI, and so you can change the camera angles for each one. I don't know what the camera setting is for the other player because I'm working on the keyboard for both of them. So I've got one on WASD and the other on the arrow keys. But, the point is, you can play this game with 2 people on the keyboard at one time. And you can plug in a controller. You can have 3 people play at one time. You can have up to 4. Anyway, so that's local multiplayer. Then we have online multiplayer. Now, I will not be able to show you. Actually, I can show you an example of this. But I'll have to cut to other footage because I recorded it earlier. You can host a game, and you can have up to 20 people join. This is really great. I've never actually been a part of a 20-player lobby, but I would love to be. Comment down below if you want to hook up on multiplayer. I will be glad. I am doing absolutely almost nothing with my life at the moment, so I should be free almost any time, and I would love to play with you. That's beside the point. But multiplayer, you can have up to 20 people join. It does show your skill rating next to your name, and you can change where are we? Why isn't my controller working? Oh, I pressed tab. Okay, you can change the race count. How many races you want. You can change how many laps you do. You can change how you pick the cars. That is also really fun. I love doing that. Changing the car selection is really great. And you can change the teams. Or if you don't want to have teams and just have everybody compete for themselves. It's really great. After every race, you get points depending upon how good you did. So if you're in first place and there's 5 people, you get 5 points. The last place gets 0 points. And the next race, you race again, and whoever has the most amount of points at the end of the tournament, depending upon how many races there are, person with the most amount of points wins the tournament. It's really, really great. It's very competitive. I love it. But there's one problem with this. There aren't a lot of people who play multiplayer. I think this stems from 2 things. Number one, this is an indie game, so the player base is relatively small to begin with. and not everybody is on at the same time. So if we look, if we leave this game, you will see that right now there are, oh, no, I think that's a bug. There are 2 to 3 players online right now. That's not a lot for a game. Like if you go to Rocket League or Dota, you're going to have a lot more. There we go. It's back to 2. If you go to Rocket League or Dota, you're going to find that there's a lot more than just 3 players online at one time. But for this game to be successful, you don't have to have a lot of players online, first of all. I'm not saying that that means the game is dying. But the other thing for multiplayer is, let's say you got the game, you're getting kind of good at it, and you're like 27% skill rating. You haven't played all the maps. You haven't got the expert time on all the maps that you have played. And so you join them. You see, like, there's a multiplayer lobby for, like, there's got 5 people in there. I think I'll join that. That seems like fun. And you see me with my 226% rating. And then, let's say, because I know that these other 2 people are regulars. Paran, number 7, you see a person with 181%, and you see a person with 176%, and a person with 204%, all in the same lobby. And you're sitting there with 27%. And it's kind of, I won't say depressing, but you start the race, and they just kind of sail off into the sunset, and you're left doing your own thing. It's kind of, it's not really good for your confidence. And so you end up quitting. I've had that happen to us about 3 times with 3 different people. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to fix that. But I would love to, the only way that I can think of fixing it is just to have a lobby for people under 100%, kind of like for the newer players or for the players that just want to take things slow. I would love to set up a lobby for that. I actually posted a discussion in the discussion board on Steam, but nobody really responded to it except for one person who was on board with it. Thank you, Sixpack. But if we got some more people wanting to do that, I would be glad to, like I said, I'm doing nothing with my life. I'd be glad to set up the lobby for you guys to join, just so y'all could race against each other. Because really, it's a lot more fun. This game is insanely fun when you're racing up against somebody and it's a close race, like for the entire time. Like 3 minutes of just like trying to just get a little bit ahead of the person. I've had games where I've beaten somebody by like 1/10 of a second. I've had games where somebody's beaten me by 100th of a second. And those games are amazingly fun. And I would love for you guys to experience that. I'd love for the lower skill rating people to experience that as well. But they need to be racing against other lower experienced players, people on the same level as them. So that's why I think it also may be a little bit of a turnoff for multiplayer. Now I'm done with the multiplayer soapbox. Okay, where are we? Hey, we're 18 minutes in. Ish. After I show the multiplayer footage, we may be 20 minutes in. But hey, I'm 10 minutes ahead of schedule. So, my opinion on Star Drift Evolution. I don't know if I've talked about some of this or not, but I will talk about it again. Out of all my racing games that I have, I posted a review on Steam for this game. I think I mentioned 10 racing games that I've played. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But out of all my racing games that I've ever played, Need for Speed Heat, Forza Horizon 5, Forza Horizon 4, Forza 7, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Star Drift Evolution is my favorite, hands down. I have spent the most amount of time in this game than I ever have in any of the other games, and I've had a blast doing it. Like, the fun level for me has not gone down at all. This game is still as fun as the first day I got it, which is amazing. I can't really say that for the other games that I mentioned. The fun level went down a little bit. It got a little bit boring, but this game is perfectly marketed to me. I love it. So this game, in my opinion, speaking of this game, it could be worth, in my opinion, up to $30. I think it's that good of a game. But it's only 15, so I think you're getting this game at a steal. And it goes on sale too for maybe the holidays or something. I'm not in charge of that, so I can't tell you when exactly it will go on sale. But it did go on sale recently for I think $11. So I mean, you can get this at a discount when it's at a discount anyway. And like I said, I mean, I got Forza Horizon 5. I don't know. I'd consider that a AAA title. I got Forza Horizon 5 last week. I played it. I love it. It's $60. And I'll boot up my computer now and I'll think about what game I want to play, and I'll just gravitate towards Star Drift Evolution, which costs 1/4 of the price. And I'm having more fun with it. So cheaper cost, more fun. I mean, you can't get a better deal than that. The only downside is it's an indie game, and there's only one guy, to my knowledge, there's only one guy who's actually updating the game itself, not production or marketing, but updating the game itself. To my knowledge, there's only one guy doing it. It's an indie game. That's to be expected. The downside is the gaming community has been spoiled in the fact that for the past, I don't know, few years, most games that have been released have a multiplayer aspect to it, and they constantly receive updates or DLC. So like Monster Hunter, I don't know if Monster Hunter is multiplayer. It may just be single player, but they receive some DLC. And I think the DLC was pretty good to my knowledge. I don't play the game. But, you know, like Rocket League, they get, like, you know, new cars, new wheels. Dota gets new skins for the heroes. CSGO gets, like, new weapon skins that apparently cost $1 million in real-world currency. But anyway, my point is, StarCraft Evolution is not getting that. StarCraft Revolution has just been released, full release, no DLC so far. I'm not saying there isn't any DLC. I would buy DLC if there was, so keep that in mind, Katza. But I don't think it needs it, though. This game has been so well thought out before being released as a full game coming out of beta that it doesn't need updates. It doesn't need DLC to be a really good game. It is a good game in its own right. That's not to say that there haven't been any updates. There have been updates. The developer is still working on this game. He's still updating it. I think it's a he. It could be a she. But the developer is still updating this game. We had a Halloween update where he put in a new car. It was a really cool thing. Put in some new horns. You know, it was just a little small thing. But, you know, he didn't have to do it, but he did. And it was great. I absolutely loved it. The other thing is, with one developer, you would think that there'd be some bugs. There's this new hit game that came out called Phasmophobia, which is nothing like this game at all. My point is, it was also made by one guy, which was also very impressive, and it had some bugs in it. And there still are some bugs in it, and now there are 3 people, I think, 3 or 4, working on it. And there's still bugs in the game. This one YouTuber is really good at finding them. There's only one guy making this game, and there are bugs. There are, you know, like, but they're not game breaking. They don't help you go faster. There's not like any shortcuts, major shortcuts to tracks, you know. So most of the times you'll see are legitimate, like most. Every time that you'll see in this game is a legitimate time, and everybody else has to follow the same track. It's just up to their skill level and the card that they choose as to how fast they can go. But there's no game breaking bugs. So with that in mind, I'm 8 minutes ahead of schedule. Now that we've reached the end of the video, I've got to leave it a score. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I like this game? Well,
that's a 10.